Hi, I'm Hannah Bush. I'm Janae Smith, and this is my auntie Lacey. She's my godmother, and we're gonna be interviewing her for our religion project.
Hi, and I'm Glyceria Villanueva, also known as Glaze.
Okay.
So, we're going to start asking you questions. So, our first question is Baptism is the spiritual birth in Jesus Christ. How did your life change before and after your baptism?
Oh, my life changed a lot. Or how did my life change before baptism or after baptism?
Both.
Actually, it's a very long story, but my life changed very much.
Through baptism, we become adopted sons and daughters of God the Father. Have you personally experienced the love of God in your life?
Definitely.
Okay.
And if you would like me to elaborate? Okay. Well, let's start with baptism. I was baptized when I was an infant. But before I was baptized, I was very sickly. I was born in the Philippines, and I was born in a barrio in the Philippines. A barrio is a place wherein the whole community is so very far away from the town. It's very remote. And in 1957, when I was born, um, doctors are not available in most, especially in a barrio. So you have to call a doctor, and it would take a person to walk from my barrio to the town, and that would mean hours and hours, and then for that doctor to come, and that would mean hours and hours. And at that time, there was a disease called convulsion, when a child just get a very, very high fever. And I would always get that. My mom said that one time I had a really high fever, and the doctor said that I had no more pulse, and therefore I was already dead. And so my mom was crying, the whole barrio, all of her friends and aunts and uncles, and my dad was there. We did not have this modern stove. We had ashes in coal and everything. And my mom was praying. She was praying. She was praying in Tagalog. And it's only now that I realize she must have been praying in tongues. But as she did that, all of a sudden, my dad got up all of a sudden and pulled a handkerchief and took the coal out of the stove and put it in a handkerchief. And my mom said at the side of her head, she could see my dad doing that, and he couldn't even pick up the coal because it was so hot. And all of a sudden, he came to me, and I was already dead. They were dressing me up. In the Philippines back then, they wouldn't put you in a funeral home. They'll dress you up right there to put you in a coffin. And all of a sudden, they were getting me ready, and my mom couldn't accept that I was dead, and my dad couldn't accept it either. And he rubbed that very hot coal wrapped in handkerchief all over my body. Meantime, the doctor had already left and confirmed that child is dead. Get ready, you guys. And my dad rubbed it all over my body, and all of a sudden I started crying, and I did all the things that a child would do without a diaper. Because back then we didn't have diapers. Huggies were not. But anyway, because of that, my mom accepted the infant baptism. She said he needed to be baptized. And my aunts and uncles, they came. We didn't have any food. I mean, we didn't have that much money. So we just went to town. They said one day we decided, okay, I'm going to be baptized. I was baptized as an infant. And then I was confirmed when I was 5 years old. I did not know what was happening to me when I was baptized and when I was confirmed. But because of that story, ever since then I realized we need baptism and we need confirmation. that answer your question?
Yeah. That
Okay.
was very well elaborated.
Yeah, you can ask all of my brothers and sisters to confirm that experience, and it's a true experience.
Like Uncle Ricky De La Rosa.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Now
That's a
we
true
realize-
experience.
I'm so happy you're alive. I'm so happy you're
And there
alive.
are so many other stories wherein I believe that God had saved me from so many things. It'll be more than 20 minutes.
So who are your godparents and why did you or your parents choose them?
My godparents were related to me. Unfortunately, they are no longer here on earth. Um, they were older than my mom and my aunt chose them to be my godparents. They and as I was growing, I remember when I was 7 years old, my confirmation godparent. I have one confirmation godmother and godfather. I have for confirmation, I have a godmother and a godfather, and for baptism, I have a godmother and a godfather. So, but they were always with me. They were my uncles on my. Most of them were my uncles on my mother's side. My mother was the one. My mother's side was the one that I would say very Catholic and very religious. It was my mother who actually taught me how to do the rosary, who taught me, and it was my aunt who told me the prayer, Angel of God, my guardian, to whom God's love covers me. Ever this day, be at my side to light and guide, to rule and guide. Amen. And I love that prayer. I would say that prayer. My aunt, and my godmother at the same time, taught me that prayer in English. And I did not know how to say English. And I would just say it, not knowing what it meant. I would just say it. And it's only when I gotten older, when I was in high school, that I realized what it meant. I was already in high school. But even through that time, I felt as if God, with my guardian angel, was actually protecting me. There were so many other stories, again, that I really believe God had protected me. Yeah, all right.
I love that guardian angel.
Which sacrament of initiation do you feel has changed your life the most?
Which? Oh, I cannot say. Can I distinguish one from the other? I think baptism. Yeah. And Eucharist. Confirmation too.
So all of that?
Well, baptism.
All
If I need to distinguish one, I think baptism and Eucharist. No, that's kind of hard. You got to put it together. It's like, it's a food.
Right.
Once you have it's all in there. It's all given. You can't say, no, I don't want that. No, it's all given. But baptism.
Alright.
Yeah.
And are you happy to be a Christian?
That's not even a question. I'm surprised you asked me that.
It's just in case, because some people, like you talked about how people have doubt in class. You talked about people have a lot of doubt, and then sometimes.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Well, I am absolutely 199%. No, there's no 199%, but anyway, it's over than that. Yeah, I'm very happy to be a Christian, and I'm not, to be honest, really, and I'm not just saying that. I'm very, very happy to be a Christian. I am so very glad that God, I believe, has revealed His love for me, not just by hearing it from people, but I really truly believe that God came to me and showed me that He really loved me. In that, I had a real experience in that church. it's a more heart to heart experience. Yeah, and I wouldn't go through it. Not for 20. No, I wouldn't say it just for 20 minutes. Yeah, it's a really great experience. God really is so close. He's so close, and He would reveal Himself. But I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. During the time that I was going through so much, I thought that God wasn't there, but then I realized that God is always there. God is always there. God is always there. Yeah. Yeah, I love you. Yeah. Don't know?
That's it.
Oh, that's it. Has it been 20 minutes?
Oh, it's 10 minutes and 55 seconds.
10 minutes and 55 seconds. Oh, would you like to tell me more stories? Like confirming how God has really. Would you like to ask more questions? Why I was baptized? Well, never mind. That's okay. If that's it.
How about, do you have anything to say or advice to people who are thinking about becoming a part of Christianity and specifically Catholicism?
Hey, that's a question.
Mr. Kim will be proud.
Becoming really is a good question, because for me, I think to be able to answer that correctly and honestly is from a person who had experienced the perspective of not being a Christian, of not hearing it yet, and having lived in a life where the Christianity is never heard. But I have, in that case, I have been friends of people who were Buddhists, people who had never heard of Jesus Christ. I actually have a friend right now, and I was trying to help her. You probably know her. We invited her at one of our Thanksgiving parties. Her mom, her parents were from Vietnam. She was born here in the States. Her mother passed away 5 years ago, and she was only 20. But when her mom was baptized Buddhist, her father was also baptized Buddhist. But because of so many things, the war in Vietnam, they came to the United States, and they had to make a living, just like some Christians who migrated to the United States. When they arrived in the United States, the first thing they would do is to think about how they would protect their physical being as opposed to nourish their spiritual being. So when we do that as immigrants, we get so busy on work, how to pay mortgage, how to put food on our table, and that's what happened with her. Her parents, her mom worked. She had no social life as she was growing, just like any of you who were fortunate. Your parents can afford to take you to dance class and all this and that, and you had social activities. She did not have any social activities. In high school, she had no friends. She felt awkward. She spoke Vietnamese. I don't know why her mom secluded her from other children, but she had a reason. Anyway, she passed away, and I wanted to introduce her to Catholicism. She never heard of Jesus Christ. I was having a hard time because she did not know Buddhism. She heard part of it, and she liked the Catholic Church. I had taken her to a Catholic church one time. She really liked it. But when her aunt found out that I had taken her to a Catholic church and she wanted to, her aunt disapproved of her because her aunt was practicing. And so there is a struggle there. I found out that in every, whether it's Protestant or Catholics, and Protestants and Catholics are brothers and sisters. You know that. You know the history on that. But and that's why we have ecumenism when we dialogue with other brothers and sisters. With other faith, like Buddhism and Catholicism, we have interfaith. And this is what I'm doing with her. Now back to your question. How? That's what I'm trying to find out right now, actually. And I'm glad you asked me that question because then it confirms my mind that that's something that I still have to work on. It's basically dialogue and friendship, relationship. Because once our aunt finds out that we know how to love each other and we live a life full of Jesus' love for each other, his teaching, then her aunt would see that it's how we live our life. Yeah, how we live our life. And it's, they always say that, oh, Christian is how you live your life. It's almost becoming like a cliche. But what it is how you live your life is like basically understanding the virtues. You learn about that too, right? The theological virtues and the cardinal virtues. And sometimes the theological virtues is like faith, hope, and love or charity. And the cardinal virtues are like fortitude, prudence, justice, and but the thing is, learning that and just learning it and knowing the word is easy, but actually implementing it in our mind and body and practicing it, I'm having a hard time doing it. So the best thing to do is have good habits. So once you learn the good habits at a young age, then it's easy to carry it on to an older age. It's like, it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. So you have to maintain good habits while you are young. Yeah. And be happy too. Because God wants us to be happy. And be silly a little bit every once in a while. Yeah. Sure. Anyway, I think that's it. 17.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Vivian, because I don't want you to be late, okay?
No, hold on.
We're not going to be late. Also, to add to that, understanding virtues and our faith is by telling stories to others. Because when you hear it and then you say it, you're hearing it and professing it, and it reminds our body. And it's almost like a reminder. Or sometimes you can write it down, put it in front of stick it on your refrigerator door, and you see it all the time. Oh, this is a great example. One time I was having a really hard time on faith, and I feel as if God is asking me to do something. Would you believe it? God really speaks to us. All of a sudden, I belong to a Couples for Christ ministry, and my fellow Couples for Christ members, we were praying, and this lady, her friend is, this lady gave me a plaque that says, "No one can please God without faith." That would be your assignment. Where is that in the Bible? Where is that? Do you know where that is in the Bible? Also,
Old Testament?
And also in the Bible, to confirm about baptism as an infant, it's in the Bible, it's in the house of Cornelius, where his whole household was baptized. That's also yours. Anyway, back to my story. That plaque, I kept it in my room. So when I wake up in the morning, that's the first thing I would see. So remembering a word of God and keep it in your mind, in your heart, will help you to put into practice and put into word and put into action what God wants you to do. Okay.
I hope that helps. It really does.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. And it's exactly 20 minutes. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Okay, now you can go to. I think I can go now, and I thank God. I thank God for today.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Oh, it's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
All right.